So if you've been around WordPress, chances are really big that you've seen Hidetaka before. While this is his first visit to Taiwan, he's absolutely not new to WordPress. He's been working with WordPress for over 10 years, of which the last 2.5 years as a developer advocate at Stripe. And just 2 weeks ago, he was also the lead organizer of a WordCamp in Kansai, Japan. Today, Hidetaka will share with you his learnings on headless WordPress. But before that, I want to tell you a little thing. Because outside of work, he enjoys playing the Japanese drums. So, there is only one way to welcome our speaker to the stage, and that is to give him your best drum roll and a warm applause. So please put your hands together for Hidetaka.
Thank you for that. I'm really happy to such a warm grab. Anyway, thank you for coming together. Today, I'd like to share my experience and the journey of building the headless WordPress site. I want to ask you about a quick question. Have you ever been to try to build a headless WordPress site? Wow, so many. Okay, I feel a little bit nervous. But let's hear my experience, and I'd like to talk together about how headless is in this place and after party. So let me introduce myself. I'm Hidetaka. Please pronounce me the Hide. This is my nickname. And yeah, as you know, I'm a lead organizer of the WordCamp Kansai 2024 2 weeks ago. So that's so rush. And today's my point is that I'm going to submit my homework I get 9 years ago. What is this? In the WordCamp US 2015. This is my first flagship WordCamp I participated in. And I hear this slide, learn JavaScript deeply. This is the word Matt Warren said in the keynote. So the 2015, the WP API V1 has launched. So I'm start to run and try touch the WP API and JavaScript and PHP at the beginning. So I said 9 years ago, 5 years, I made a huge mistake. I have to correct the title. So I'd like to talking about my journey of the 9 years at my talk. So after back to Japan, I start to learn what WP API is. So I try to create a simple WordPress plugin just called WP API from the shortcode. So I just use the WP remote get and the WP remote post function. So the main goal is understanding how we can use the WP API. And also, I learned the workshop and the Japanese WordPress community. I'm not unsure about the JavaScript and also jQuery, but it's really easy to get a post from the front end. So that's a really exciting and a great experience to me at the moment. So I start a deep dive to the WP API and headless WordPress. So that the next years, I create the first theme built by the WP API. This is my theme. And the WP Kyoto is my personal blog post, the blog site built by the JavaScript. So I try to run build a React application by Gulp, and I'm not unsure how I can host the React application on the web. So I enqueue the build JavaScript inside the WordPress themes. So this theme has only two PHP files, index.php and functions.php. What I felt at the moment, first impression, I want to write a PHP again. That's why. Because the React application on the WordPress is the decrease the benefit of the both platforms, also WordPress and React. Why? When we build a React application on the WordPress themes, we can use shortcode and widget and also the block. And we cannot use a template hierarchy. And so it's hard to customize the view on depends on the category or the post or any other things. And also we cannot use a WordPress function, use a full function like a WP prefix. And also the side of the React application, we cannot use the server-side JS because rendered by PHP and WordPress. And it's hard to build a dev server. So I have to run the WordPress and the React application through the background. It's not comfortable. So the look back from now, if we build a JavaScript or React application on the WordPress application, we have to use the view script in the custom block. This is a close to build a React application on each WordPress site. And it's good to use the WP API to build a dynamic client, like getting the external data like the Yahoo API or the Google API, or also the LLM API. And go to the next years. I try to do the new things. Have you ever seen the Amazon Alexa? I'm an Alexa champion. So in 2017 to 2018, I'm focusing on creating the Alexa application. And that's a backend, and the fundamental is very simple. Users say the input by voice, and Alexa convert the voice to the text, and the API just process the text to text. And Alexa read the text, the response text to the voice. So we only focusing on the JSON API. So, and the WordCamp Singapore, maybe 2016, I tried to submit my presentation about WordPress and Amazon Alexa. So this is a screenshot of my presentation. So the left side is the behavior of the Amazon Alexa, and the right side is my construction at the conference. So Amazon, if we build a custom voice application, we need to get the data source. So the database or CMS or like that. And WordPress provide the RSS feed by default. And also the good point is Alexa skill is the Alexa skill can read the RSS feed. So we can create a custom Alexa application just read the RSS endpoint into the skill. Let's look up from now. So the Headless WordPress is mostly talking about building the GUI, but also we can create the omnichannel distribution like a voice application or chat application, or also the well-known about the LLM or the lag. So I want to keep discussing about the headless WordPress and the use case, not only the GUI. Let's go to the next years. Finally, I decided to leave the WordPress theme. Why? I realize the useful static site hosting, like a Netlify or the Amazon AWS, the Amazon S3, or like that. So I try to replace front end to the React SPA, single page application. So this is a simple example code. At the moment, I use the React and the Redux and the Redux Saga to fetch WP API data in the client side. And one thing we have a problem about distributing the website as the single page application is SEO and Open Graph, because the rendering only single HTML file. So the Google and the Facebook or the X recognize only top page on each the content page. So my solution is using the Preview render. This is one of the functionality of the Netlify. And I try to do another way using the run the Node.js server to render the React application on the server. My opinion about building the single-page application is that, to be honest, I don't want to build a single-page application for distributing the website, but good for the native application like iOS or Android. And that's good news. We can build a native application by the JavaScript technology. Ionic and Capacita is a good framework. And also, if we're familiar about the React, we can use React Native. Or if you're curious about the Dart, we can try to use a Flutter. So go to the 2016 and the 2020. I realized the next new big change. Have you ever seen the Gatsby and the Next.js before? Next.js, Gatsby. Shake hands together later. This is a React framework to build a JavaScript application, the React application as the server side or the static site generation, well known as a Hugo or like that. And they try to distribute the useful integration or the framework or plugin. Yes. The Gatsby providing the create a source plugin, the Gatsby source WordPress. And the other side, this is not provided by the Basel. I believe the WP engine, yes, thank you. WP engine create a headless WordPress framework named False.js. So what's the difference between the Gatsby and the Next.js is the importing the data. And the Gatsby pulled every data before building the website. And the front-end builder import each data by using the GraphQL so that we can easy to combine and mash up the various data sources, like not only WordPress, the Google Sheet, or Notion, or any other REST API or GraphQL, or like that. And the other side, the Next.js, is based on the React rendering cycle. So we can fetch the post data in the server side and also client side. And we can customize the data source or the data fetching by own code. So the Gatsby is easy to combine and mash up, and the Next.js is good for the make it simpler, I believe. So look back to 2014. From now, Gatsby acquired by the Netlify, and Next.js well-known provided by the Basel, and also Remix is maintained by the Shopify team. So every React and Headless framework is maintained by the hosting company or SaaS company. So if we choose or make decision what the framework do you want to use, please research the hosting depending the hosting service or the SaaS. So like is the Basel server is available in the Taiwan or the Japan, or how about the Netlify, or possibly we have to bring their framework on each server, like AWS or GCP or any other local hosting providers. Coming closely, I try to use SaaS and the fast application and try to build my blog site as a SaaS. Okay. I started using several SaaS application and also the cloud integration like Stripe, Algolia, and AWS Amplify. Why I decided to use is make it simpler to integrate to get the complex feature like authentication, user management, and payment, and managed subscription. If we build a headless WordPress site, we have to integrate or build these functions by themselves, like using the PostgreSQL or MySQL, because we can't use the WordPress function and the WordPress. It's hard to use the WordPress database. But if we use any good SaaS or the good cloud infrastructure, we can. They're providing the useful SDK. Like AWS Amplify providing the SDK for the authentication, and the Stripe providing the good webhook and a good no-code tool, so we can make it easier. And I realized we can use the split user database on each use case. If we build a membership site only using the WordPress, we have to store every user data in the WP user table. But if we use external IDP service like a Cognito or Okta or the Spabase, we can split the use case. So the WP user is only manage the lighter data or modifier or admin. And visitor, like a subscriber or member, only store in their data in the Cognito or like that, so it makes it safety and easy to maintain. So this is my example. Yeah, this is my page of the headless site. So the user management and renewing the subscription. This is only called the 3 or 4 API from the Amazon Amplify, AWS Amplify or the Stripe. So using the external API is really helpful, and it increase and reduce the friction about building the website. So let's look at the last year. I'm strongly curious about the AI. Well, have you ever tried the OpenAI or the Claude or like that? Wow. I really like to use the OpenAI. So if you're curious about building the AI application, please visit this URL, platform.openai.com. We can get the API key and create the custom integrations. So my strongly curious point is we can use the machine learning model and the large language model as an API service. It's really helpful to me because I'm not unfamiliar about the machine learning technology and the LLM like that. I just want the API. And the good news for all of JavaScript developer and the Python developer, we can use for the framework or LLM. The name is LangChain. We can manage and orchestrate the LLM, the API call. And sometimes we have to call the multiple API requests to complete the tasks. For example, this is a POC of my blog. When I put the question in English, the LangChain searched my blog post and summarized the answer. And this is a sequence So when I publish the post, the WordPress called my API to process the post data into the AI. The OpenAI API convert my text content to the vector data and storing the vector store in the Cloudflare Vectorize or the Supabase. And if user put the question, the JavaScript application called the Node.js API and convert the question to the vector data and search in the vector store. And finally, the OpenAI, the GPT-4, create the answer based on the search result. This is a simple code snippet to index the data. So the fetching the WP API and convert the each content to the other document we called by the LangChain, and at the final line store out document so that it may create or update index. And today I'm happy to announce my new example application as an open source. This is a WordCamp, the collaboration between WordCamp and LLM. So visit WordCamp-Asia-lag. I'm sorry, that's a link so long, but you can visit this link. You can ask about all of the sessions of this WordCamp. And if you're curious about the source code, you can visit the top of link. You can read my JavaScript applications. So what LLM and OpenAI LangChain bring to me is change my role of my blog post. Currently, our blog post is a dev blog post, but getting the power of the LLM, I can convert the website to the knowledge base so that I can ask me about what I did 2 years ago, or like something asking about my past challenge, or someone don't have to send a DM to me, just asking the AI assistant. So in this year, I want to try to convert my blog post to the knowledge base. Yes. And I realized the data model is close to the CQRS, the command query responsibility segregation, because I or some writer writing the content and insert the data from the WP admin, and the backend sending the post data for the external various database, full text search, vector store, or NoSQL database, or like that. We can optimize the search query or calling the API more efficiency, because the full text search is a powerful search functionality. And using the vector store, we can create a recommendation or the LLM empowered application. And also like that. And of course, based on the CQRS, that we can distribute the multiple way to distribute the content. Not only web application, native application, and the chat application, and finally the voice application. So we can publish my content for the various way from now. And additionally, I realized using the headless technology, we can easy to renew the front end, because the front end application just fetching the data through the WP API. So we can create a multiple application and just switching the DNS record or deploy destination. So we don't have to prepare the Docker container or the background or like that. Just run the npm run dev or the npm start. It's really comfortable to me. And I'd like to talk about 3 more use cases about headless WordPress. I already talking about the omnichannel distribution. The second one is minimize impact. Sometimes the WordPress make a failure by the various reasons, update the plugin or the disk full or the attack or like that. In case of the monolith WordPress, the website is getting the 500 error. But in case of the headless WordPress site, that depend on the Next.js application, we can keep partially showing the content because the Next.js application of calling fetching the data through the WP API, but once we add error handling in the Next.js application, the website, of course, we can't see the content data because the WordPress is down, but the layout and the user experience are live. That's the difference of the CDN and the serverless frontend. And second one, I only remain 5 minutes, so I'm speaking more quicker. We're about to see the Figma to React. For now, the several design tools have a functionality to convert each design data for the HTML or the React data. So sometimes the people try to create a WordPress theme, just create a static HTML and WordPress to be a WordPress theme. But we have to thinking about the many conditions and many blockers, like is this static HTML support the template tag or thinking about the default CSS provide a WordPress core or like a block Gutenberg, and is it possible to build a website as the custom block or the default block? So my friend told me the alternative way using the Astro is the famous JavaScript framework. It's really close to writing the WordPress theme. So yeah, React is useful, but hard to get started for the non-JavaScript developers. But Astro looks close to the simple HTML file, and also including also writing the PHP code like a JavaScript. So similar style coding the themes, and it's good to build so if we convert the design data as a static HTML, we just convert the HTML to the Astro website. It's a low friction. And if we want to, I and my friend talking about it's a good way to build a new style, the full scratch WordPress theme. Because the full scratch themes is, I believe now, not unfamiliar about the block theme or the full site editing. So if we want to keep to build this way, possibly Astro and the WP API helps you to keep these workflows. And finally, this is I believe the enterprise use case microservice. Okay. Sometimes many people want to write or adding the data from the various way. The WordPress is really good for the writing the story and the blog post, the long form content. But someone like the customer support want to get the testimonial. They want to use a Google form or any like a form service and store the data in the Headless CMS or the Google Sheet. And the developer wants to create the API documentation using like a PHP doc or the type doc or any other service. So as a result, many people, we have to maintain the various CMS or the building tool or the microsite. So like a Gatsby, we can organize or combine this data, and then Noel said that it's like a composable. So the WP API and the block might help to build a composable content. For example, my personal portfolio site importing the multiple data sources like WordPress. MicroCMS is one of the famous Japanese headless CMS, and importing the plugin or the library data from the NPM or WordPress org. Okay. And finally, I want to tell the one important thing. I'm talking about how JavaScript is useful, but keeping in mind, PHP is not going away. Because in my experience, the headless WordPress is good for me, but I want to say that we should not use headless WordPress in those cases, the smaller budget case, or the no JavaScript expert, and early stage startup, and small development team or the maintain team. And of course, if you have many or the strong WordPress expert, please use block CMS first. Why? The goal of making the WordPress site is get succeed for your business. So don't struggle about what the tool do you want to prefer. Please asking why do you want to build a website as a headless or the full site? So my conclusion there. So I finally submit my homework 9 years. And headless WordPress is a really good use case and effective way to distribute the content. But of course, the building the WordPress by PHP or the monolith WordPress is also reasonable. So please keep in mind what do you want to get achieved by slow building a WordPress site. So, okay, one more thing. Through my experience, learning the new content is the new point of view and a new perspective. So before I start to learn the WP API, I only know about the scenes, plugin, and writing content or SEO like that. But for now, through the WP API, I get the various way. So I want to quote the famous word, connecting the dot. So please put the many dots regarding according to your curiosity, and please connect your interest or your network in the WordCamp or the after party. So I'd like to keep talking with you in the after party and afternoon. Thank you for listening. ありがとうございます。
Thank you so much for your presentation. All right, we have some time for Q&A. So if you have a question, then now is your time. You can be first. If not, I'm going to be first. Final call? No? Okay. So you talked about a few frameworks. Is there a specific one that you would recommend for someone trying Headless for the very first time with WordPress?
If you're not unfamiliar about the JavaScript or if you want to get started to run the JavaScript, I believe the Astro is a good starting point. And if you're familiar and well-known about the React or the building the enterprise application, the Next.js or the Remix might help you improve your workflow.
Awesome, thank you. Anyone else with a question? Viewers at home? Aha, you can't just have been here. Yep. I see a hand raised. Yeah, Mike Runner was faster than me. Very good, thank you.
Okay. What is your current most favorite stack?
Sorry.
Most favorite stack?
Stack?
Like WordPress with Next.js or any other? Your favorite? Most?
My most favorite framework or open source is, of course, WordPress. And second one is LangChain, because I'm really exciting to build the AI application from now. So that's my answer, the WordPress, LangChain, or the Next.js. But I'm not unfamiliar about Uprooter from now.
All right, do we have any more hands? Yes, in the front.
Thank you, Hide. Great
Yeah.
talk, by the way.
Thank you.
For the folks listening later, for the playback and the folks at home, for those who work predominantly with monolithic WordPress, what would you say is a good piece of advice in how to start getting started with Headless if you're curious, or any resources they can get started with Headless and transition into using Headless WordPress?
You mean your question is what the point we can make? We can start discuss to migrate.
And what resources could you point them to get started to learn Headless?
That's a good question. Wait a moment.
Thank
I
you.
want to look back my presentation. I think if your company or your project get so many data source or CMS, not only WordPress, and if you want to unify the data in the single domain, I think it's time to thinking about building the headers WordPress. Or if you're curious about the D3.js or creating the awesome web animation, the JavaScript help you more effective.
And is there a specific site where they can learn more about this?
The good learning site is, for now, the Next.js website publishing the long-form tutorial to building the Next.js application, and also they providing the example to get the data from the WordPress. So someone say the Uprooter is complex and hard to learn, but the document is very kindly. So from now, the Next.js is a good starting point, I believe. And thank you for coming, the Japanese guys. It's hard to read the English content. Astro has the Japanese version.
All right, I think we have time for one more question.
Okay.
There's some competition for the last question, so maybe if we make it quick, we can squeeze in another one.
Okay, since you have said you have connecting to many many dots about that, right? So basically people create a website using WordPress because they are concerned and making it's timing concern and timeline concern for the building one website very quick. If we do a headless technology with many dots, you say, because I can see that a lot of technology inside. What is the average a project timeline that you have done before?
The average mean sorry for that. I apologize about my narrow English, listening English skills. So please.
Yeah, can you quickly repeat that?
Just say about timelines for the one projects. How much how long you use the time for that, using the headless technology to create websites.
For now, each year, because usually I renew my personal website frequency by each year, and I try to new things or try to new dot like a Superbase or the LLM. That for the business, I don't use headless technology for the personal website, I prefer to use the full-site themes or the useful WordPress theme and the hosting on the reliable WordPress hosting company because it's complex.
All right,
Yes,
so
thank
next
you.
year we want to learn from you how long it took you to do it. All right, I think we've come up on time, so thank you very much for your questions. If you have any other questions, please find Hide later at the WordCamp. But before we leave, let you leave the stage, there's a little thank you from the organizing team.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your presentation.